Welcome, episode 263, In Search of Awesome. And I'll tell you what, we got some awesome stuff in the house tonight. She's in my green room. Miss Dominique. I'm going to get her last name spelled so that because I love her. I love her a lot. DiBenedetto. She's in. And when you see why I invited her, you're going to freak out. You're going to blow the sides off your brain box. Salon owner, yes. Master colorist, yes. Educator, yes. But she's also average day. Are you ready for this? About $2,000. What? That's right, $2,000. She knows how to make the big bucks. She is also educator and just kind of on ramping with Redken. I've kind of watched her grow over the years, so I think she's just getting warmed up. Let me tell you why I invited her. I want you to check out these stats. It's gonna blow you away. She hits six-figure W-2 in 2018 at 102, 2019 115. During COVID. Come on, stop it. She grows it up to 132. I'll ask her what she's trending tonight. I have a feeling she's probably trending 150 or so. She'll tell me because she'll tell you anything. She's very, very transparent. But look at the stats behind the chair, you guys. She's only 35. Her average ticket, come on, stop it, is $400. Her haircut's $95. She's got an average ticket that's 4 times her freaking haircut, man. I'm going to call up, Guinness Book of World Records tonight and get her in the record books because I don't think I've ever gotten something that high. Average day, 2 papos, 2K. Referrals, she's well over 100. I mean, and she's just getting warmed up. Rebooks at 100%. RTS is off the chart. So I'm telling you, she makes it happen. Now, she got an amazing story, so I'm not going to take anything away from it. But she graduates in 04 from high school, 05 hair school, and the rest is history. Opens up Aura Salon in 2019, incubates it in a solo. So I'm going to get her talking about that tonight as well. You have got to follow her on Instagram. Her handle is hair by Dom D. And I love her work. I love how she, it's almost like the website before the website. So she's blowing it up all over the place. So listen, she's in my green room. I'm going to go and get her. Going to get her talking about her story. I love her story. I'm going to see how much of her secret sauce I can get her to share with you guys tonight. So give me a second to make all this stuff go away. Let me see here. I'm going to unmute her. You're going to make her feel welcome. Hi, Dominique.
Hi, everyone.
How are you, my friend?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, very good. I've been looking so forward to this conversation. You and I were having kind of conversations before this, and as I spent some time with you, you're just a real interesting soul. So I can hardly wait to get chatting.
Me too. I waited for this for a long time, and it's kind of surreal to be sitting here with you. And thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on. All right. So we always like to start with the story of who, how it was, what happened, and how you get here, because it gives us an opportunity not only to get to know you personally, but really inspired by your journey. So get us started. Who are you, and what got you into the business, and what got you to where you're at now?
Well, that's where it starts, right? The foundation of everything. So, I graduated high school in 2004. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. So I can't sit here and say at that time I was born to do hair. I wasn't, I didn't have that. I was going to go to college like I was supposed to. But I never really was one to want to sit at a desk, or I didn't have anything that I wanted to really hone in on. So I went to college the first year. I dropped out within the first semester because I was like, I can't do this. There's nothing here that's exciting me, I have to be engaged with whatever I'm doing. And if I'm not passionate about it, I'm going to suck at it. So I knew that there were 2 things that I was really, really good at. It was making money and the drive to make money. So my parents started to get annoyed with me a little bit because I was just working at a restaurant and I was making good money. But they started to get super aggravated with me because I really wasn't doing anything at all. I was just hanging out with friends, working at the restaurant, like just whatever. So my mom had said, like, listen, you lost your scholarship. That's over. You need to figure something out if you're going to live here. So I went to the community college. I opened up the book and I was like, I'll do this. Cosmetology school. Bam, done.
What year was that? Did you do 2000?
Beginning of '05.
Okay, got it. So now you're done, and you're out of high school for a year or so, and you sign up. So you're probably 2 years out now, huh?
Not even. My parents saw me like flounder for 6 months, and that was pretty much enough for them. So I registered myself. They refused to pay for it. They didn't agree with me going to hair school at all. They were just like, I can't believe with the grades that you work so hard, you're gonna just do hair. And I'm like, okay. So I went. I put it on a credit card. At that time, it wasn't very expensive. It was the community college. I went. I will tell you, Michael, within the first week, that is what I was supposed to do.
So it touched your soul and said, I have found my calling.
I don't know what happened, but I do know is that I was getting up before my alarm. Like my parents pointed that out. So they still had the stigma of me doing hair as a waste of time, but they started to see a shift in my behavior, a motivation, wanting to not just flounder. So I was good at it. I definitely wasn't a natural at all. I was not a natural. There are people that are naturals. I was not one of them. It started to become an acquired skill where I was becoming like obsessive with doing this, and I wanted to get out. And I really wanted to break early on in my schooling. I wanted to break the stigma of just being a hairstylist. Like I knew that with my parents and just what I wanted to prove was like, I wanted to show them that I could make whatever I wanted doing this job. So I had to do that.
Wow. So when you graduate from high school, hair school, 06, 07, what was your first gig? What was your first salon that you go into?
The guy that I worked for at the restaurant actually got me a job with his good friend who owned a salon down the street. And I was an assistant, started from the bottom. I mean, that guy made me like, I did everything you can possibly think of. At the time, I really didn't understand what I was doing, but now I do. I mean, everything from scrubbing the grout with a toothbrush to picking up his lunch across town to, but just that old school mentality is like, you gotta grind, right? Which I agree with, but basically shampooing, cleaning, doing things that I wasn't even really qualified to do yet.
Right.
But you fake it till you make it sometimes.
Yeah. How long do you hang out there before you say I'm done?
A couple of years, because I had gotten my license and I was still not treated as a stylist, which I do see that happen a lot when people assist for long periods of time.
Yeah. And then, so where'd you go after that?
So I actually got fired from there.
Why?
Because I was 21 and like I was getting frustrated. So I was just like, F it. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And I just was 21. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I got fired. And then I went to another salon. And this was a big eye opener. It was the first, it was a 1099 salon.
Oh, so you're kind of an independent contractor.
Yeah, with no book. Good times.
So you go in with no book, zero. Where'd you get clients from? You have to go out and hustle them, or did they feed you?
Oh, yeah. So luckily enough, that salon was next to a Starbucks. So I basically prostituted myself out there for like a good 6 months and just offered people free stuff. Like, hey, can I blow dry your hair? Some people were like, absolutely not. Some people were like, yeah, that's fine. Great. And I just did it that way. And the salon at the time was really, really good at, throwing me a bone every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like a kid haircut, okay, that I could mess up with no, So, and I would sit for sometimes from like 10 to 6 with one kid haircut. There were weeks where I made $0.
Mm.
I was actually in the negative because I had to buy color now.
Were you still living at home then, or did you get out on your own?
I was just moved in with my then boyfriend, now husband.
Yeah.
He was basically supporting me financially. I mean, I was in the deficit, I think, probably the entire time that I worked there. I had to quit because it cost me money to work there.
How much did you go in debt when you were there?
A couple grand.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
what's the next gig after that?
So then I actually had the realization that I wasn't ready to, be on my own because I have no people, no money, nothing to even buy supplies. So I actually went and worked at a hair cuttery.
Oh, okay. And this has got to be around what? 2010, 2209?
No, like 08.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I think, did I meet you there? I did a lot of work for hair cuttery in the early
no, I
days.
met you in 2009, 10.
Okay.
So I went to the hair cuttery, and what I loved about that place was that it paid by the hour.
Yeah.
But it did two things for me. 10 months, I was able to I would definitely never recoup what I made back. I mean, what I spent in color and that other deficit, but I honed in on my speed because there's clients all day long. Like if you want to that's where you begin. And that's where things started to make sense for me. I didn't have to pay for color. It was a Redken salon at the time. It didn't have the full range of Redken. It was just shades EQ and gels.
Right.
And it was budget. I mean, my haircut was $13.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. I remember.
So I had to learn really quick about service, building the ticket.
Adding on.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah. So what
to this day?
So
that is
so
where
you learn to add on there, and you hang out for, doesn't even sound like a year.
No, I built enough clientele to be able to move to another salon where they were so happy to have me. And I went back to a commissioned salon that was a Redken Summit salon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this has now got to be cruising around 09-ish, 08, 09?
Yeah.
And then somewhere in there, you and I meet at a show.
I met you in Orlando at Centricity. It was at the Hilton Bonnet Creek was the first time that I had.
I remember.
It was the first time I actually was asked to go to Centricity by the salon owner because I had sold, me and three other girls we had sold so much retail that they let us go.
Picked up your tab and sent you?
Yeah, they paid for the ticket to see. It was a step up class.
Oh, yeah. Was Carolyn O'Connor at that one with me still, or did she?
She was. Yep, she was.
Linda Mackey?
Not Linda.
Okay.
It was you and Carolyn for
Okay.
sure.
All right.
In the room that I was in. I mean, she could have been there, but it was 2 solid days with you guys.
Right. So, and it sounds like, did you have any big OMGs there? Like, where you started making, it sounds like you started having an awakening at hair cuttery. You get better at upselling. What happened to you at Step Up that might have poured a little bit of nitroglycerin on your bonfire?
Step Up was the first time that I realized that this was a job. Like this could be a career. Like I would tell myself that, but I didn't believe it.
Right.
This was the first time that I saw it on paper, that I had it broken down to somebody who was not strong in mathematics, that it was broken down enough for someone like me, a hairstylist, an artist, to understand. One big aha moment for me, like I will take away for the rest of my life, is the tip being the income. Like I disregarded that money. I mean, I don't even know what I did with it.
Right.
But after that, I did not. Learning it made me understand what I was worth per hour. Yep.
Oh, I get it. So you're all of a sudden now, you're placing value on you and time and the whole.
It's all starting to connect.
Oh, so what happened? It sounds like before Step Up, gratuity and tips were like walking money. So what did you use gratuities for after Step Up?
So I started to actually put it in an envelope for the week. And at the end of the week, I would count it up and then add that to, whatever my paycheck was.
Okay.
So I was able to like see what the real number
So you
was.
got really, really conscious of money that you were taking for granted until you got mindful of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's also where in that room is when I decided like I am going to be able to I'm going to lead one day. I'm going to do this. And that's where my fire for education started. Didn't do anything with it, put it in my back of my mind.
Yeah.
But just needed to focus now on where am I going to go from here? I knew that this was going to be something that I was going to come back to. When I quit that commission salon, I took that journal with me.
Oh yeah, because you get a step up journal when you learn how to journal and track and plan. So you're saying when you left us, and that was a Summit salon, and you take your journal with you.
I stole it.
I love it. What was it? What was the next? So from that, where'd you go?
I went to another salon so one of the girls kind of had the same vision as I did, and she ended up opening a salon down the street, and I went with her. And I was there for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of good things there, but then and at that point I had a really big book. Nothing what it is like today. That was 10 years ago. It's
Right.
Quadrupled since then. But then after I left there, I went to a Sola.
So and Sola, when you go to Sola, unlike a lot of people that go to self-employed community, you have a vision and you begin incubating the salon you have now. I thought that's what you told me.
Right. So when I went into Sola, I had a full-time assistant with me that worked 40 hours a week. So I was double, triple booking, basically having an associate with me. So I was taking bits and pieces of Summit and putting them into Sola.
Right, right, right.
I rented out the largest suite in Sola. It was the large double. So I could have 2 waiting room chairs and 2 working chairs. So her and I were, collabing with my book.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she was backing me up and assisting and stuff like that. She was licensed, and it was amazing. That's when I started to make money.
Right.
My expenses went through the roof though.
Yeah.
So I had to also learn how to run a business as well. So being in a Sola, you now do everything. You're your receptionist, you're your inventory person, you have a lot on your plate, plus dealing with your clients and keeping up guest experience.
Right, right. When did you get the inspiration at Sola to go, okay, I'm here and this is great. I'm going to incubate this, and all of a sudden you have a picture of I want to get it to where I can have my own environment. Like, how long were you at Sola? How many years?
I was in Sola for 6.
6 years. That's a run. That was the longest run you had before Sola.
Right, because I was able to do things on my own terms, because I found that really it was hard for me to find other people or other owners or leaders that had the mindset, that was, when you grow other people, you make money too.
Right, right, right.
So I couldn't find that. So I was incubating that, doing that on my own one day. Life happened. I had children. I had a son, and I got scared and thought, oh my God, I need to downsize. I need to stop working so much. I have to be home. And I just couldn't find a good work-life balance. So I dove into the suite across the hall and went into a smaller suite. I let go of my assistant. I decided to do everything on my own because I just didn't know, with being a first-time mom, like what was going to happen.
Right.
Long story short, in there, my business exploded in that little one. I ended up hiring another associate within a year. At that point, I was at the point I had said to myself, either I'm going to have to do the biggest price increase I've ever done and lose half of my book, or I need a team and I need help.
What did you decide to do? Which of the two did you do?
Oh, I broke my lease at Sola, and I found a salon, and I opened it within 3 months of that epiphany.
So now now we're at 2019, because I think that's when you opened up Aura, correct?
Yeah.
So it's been an amazing
right.
ride. give us in a nutshell your state of the union now. So you're in what, 1,000 square feet, 15?
I'm in 800 square feet,
Oh, nice, nice and small.
800, 9 chairs.
What? Wow. That's, you guys are like intimate.
We are intimate. We are not at full capacity stylist wise. I actually, just lost two. So right now I have the core four, which is the four of them. So I'm always looking for talent no matter what. But to come on with me takes a while. So I take a lot of time to, I don't want to just fill these seats with butts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I have to have a vibe.
Right.
So right now I have, and I go to my team and, make sure that they agree with my hire.
Yeah.
So it's a slower process, but, I'm looking for two more right now, but we're doing amazing. We are trending to hit $1 million probably almost by next year.
Wow. Inside of 800 square feet. How long do you see yourself being in 800 before you either expand in that space or do a reload?
So I'm trying to expand it now. I want it. So if I expand it, we'll go to 1,600.
Got it.
Which is great, because there's other things that I want to bring in. Like I really would like to, train more people, be like a training salon. I did onboard with Redken, and I love the brand support that I'm getting. So I want to do something with that. But I'm trying to expand as we speak, but I'm in a kind of a rough spot in my plaza because I have an empty side on the side, like on one side, and then I have somebody that might be leaving. So I have to kind of figure out the logistics of how that's going to work.
Yeah. And you just flipped over because Marcia was all over me and said,
Hi, Marcia.
and Carolyn O'Connor. So what inspired you to go give up whatever brand you had? And it was almost like a return to Redken.
So I've always used their, like, a lot of range in their color. So I've always been a huge Shades EQ fan. I veered away from permanent color for a while with them. And then I actually started working again with their color gels. And like, I don't know, just I fell in love with it. And I just loved, I love the Redken culture. I love what they stand for. I love what they've done in the pandemic with the virtual learning. I love how they don't just hone on the stylist and the technical. They hone in on the whole person, business, professional, that you have everything. The brand support that they give to the owner, they get it. And I get it. And I wanted something that I aligned with. Yeah. And I wanted something that was also an amazing product through and throughout. And I really like just having one cohesive line.
I love it. Well, I want to spend some time with you. How in the world, like, a $2,000 average day, a $400 average ticket. I mean, if we just stopped there, what in the world are you doing? How are you booking that? Like what is that formula? Because I got to tell you, I haven't. We're making history tonight for many reasons, but one of them is I've never interviewed somebody that had a $2,000 average day and a $400 average ticket. How'd you get to that place? Give us the blueprint.
Okay, so like I said earlier, from the days of haircuttery, of learning, charging so low for a haircut, like I had to find a way to make money. So like I said, the add-ons and building one ticket with multiple service is the answer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Also, like, having amazing color experience is one thing. But I mean, okay, you have a glaze, a treatment, a base color, a couple of highlights. You know what I mean? That stacks. That $400 racks up really fast.
Yeah.
Now, you also have to be cognizant of what your average ticket is and what you're charging, and making sure that the client is getting the value for that 400.
Right. And how do you how do you build that value? Because a lot of that is the experience that they're having when they're in your energy.
So for me, like, consistency is like my number one thing with my clients, and that's being consistent and showing up for them every single time like they were a new client is what gets me that money.
Right, right.
My consultations are deep.
Say that one again. My consultations are
Deep.
deep. Like you, it's, so what? Give us the anatomy of Dominique's consultation in a nutshell. What is it that you're doing there that's causing that experience?
So I require, with my book being as busy as it is now, I require them to come in for a consultation before they even have an appointment. Whether that's a virtual consultation, whatever, FaceTime, or in person, it doesn't matter to me. But I have a series of questions that I ask and that I talk about all of the things that I want to do in this service and their expectations and what they expect me to do. So we're cutting out all the uncomfortable conversations that come later, maintenance, retail, sticker shock, whatever. So I'm covering those in a way that's a conversation. So when they sit down, I never stand behind them. I get on their level. I look them in the eye. With COVID, it's a little bit different. I do keep my distance. But I ask, like, what brought you here today? What do you want to see? Show me a picture of your dream hair. I always have an iPad with me because I want to see what they love, what they hate, what they like, what they don't. And it will just answer different questions in my consult that are going to let me provide the color or whatever the service is that they want. So whether it be extension work, a color correction, just a basic highlight, I treat it as if it's like, a big deal when they're sitting down.
Right. It's interesting. Carolyn O'Connor's on and she's watching you. Carolyn never comes and watches my Facebook Live. So just the idea that she suited up and showed up. So you're fascinating me on your consultation, especially when you said it doesn't matter whether it's real time, whether it's a virtual, whether we're direct messaging, whether we're FaceTiming. If you did 10 consultations, right? How many of them would be some kind of virtual, like before they come in, you're having versus they come in real time and you're having, we'll call it a real-time pre-visit consultation is different than a pre-visit virtual. Like, what's that ratio?
So if I had 10 people, probably I would say about 4 or 5 of them would be virtual.
Got it.
Whether it's, Instagram, DM, whatever. But for me, it lets me, when I'm behind the chair, I'm very busy and I do double book and sometimes I triple book. So when I am able to do those virtual consultations, I'm able to dive in deep. And I don't mind doing them on my day off, or I don't mind doing them on an end of the day, because I know that they'll appreciate it because they know that I'm taking the time out of whatever I'm doing to sit there and let them know that they are important to me.
Wow. So your brand is the consultation is very, very, very thorough. There's a lot of bonding that goes in there. Now you said, I always have my iPad out. So what are you doing? Are you on your Instagram page where your iPad's like a digital lookbook, or are you somewhere else on a different platform?
Google Images. So what I like to do is I sit them down, we look at the iPad together. They're like, telling me what they like, what they don't like. And I, say for instance, let's use somebody like a blonde, for instance, right? So all I put into Google Images is blonde hair. And a bunch of just images come up and I have them point to me of what they like.
Wow.
I say, don't look at anything else. Don't look at the cut. Don't look at the length, nothing. I just want to see what jumps out to you that you absolutely love. So then they start pointing to them, right? So I see that they're pointing to mostly cool, cool, cool. Then I go back into Google Images and I go to cool blondes, enter. Now all the cool blondes show up. So I see how their eye views color. And now I know how my eye does. So now I can see where maybe we might have a difference in opinion on color, but now I know what she looks at. So now when I formulate, I'm formulating to her.
Got it. So I've never had an interview yet. I've done about 300 of them where you're using Google with high intentionality, where you're going on Google searches to kind of land on something. And I can only imagine that experience. If I'm a first-time client, first of all, no one's ever taken me on that kind of ride, right?
Right.
So, is there any time that once you kind of land on a color, do you ever pivot to show them some of your work that's like in that era, or do you not do that?
Sometimes, most of the time when they come in, they have their visuals. Because I do ask, I'm like, is there anything that you want to show me before we begin? Most of the time it is something from me. So I'm a little bit, when they do that, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Got
You
it.
know, if I can make that, I always tell them like, this is an inspiration photo. So that's what it is. I'm going to break down this photo compared to what your hair is working with. But now that I know that this is what you like, this is the range I'm going to play in.
Got it. So they'll a lot of times they come in and they're on your page. They've got your content. You'll kind of see this. Then you take them on a little Google run, and you land at this place where all of a sudden now you're coming into agreement. By the way, Kellen O'Connor's giving you a shameless plug. She said Dominique is training to be one of the next Redken Artist business facilitators. What that means is she's planting seeds, so people that watch tonight and will watch the recording will bring you in and help train their staff.
Right. And to me, like that's, you know, to even just to, you know, facilitate on that kind of consultation, like that consultation, they have not gotten anywhere else. So
No.
it brings, right. So I would say probably about 99% of new clients that sit in my chair will say this: wow, no one has taken the time to do that before.
Right. How long would a typical consultation like that go? How many minutes are we talking about?
It's a measly 15 minutes.
Okay. All right.
I
But
mean, it can go longer, but I
right,
mean, depending
but
on the person.
it leads to a $400 ticket.
Right, because also in that 15 minutes, we've touched on maintenance when you're coming back. So there's your pre-book. We've touched on home care. That's what you're taking home today. We've touched on budget.
Right, right.
So I say in the consult, this is going to range between X, A or B.
Right.
Are you comfortable with that?
Right.
I'm asking permission.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's,
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people that sit in my chair and they're like, I don't care what it is, do it.
yes.
But that's not the same for everybody. And everybody, I still cross my T's and dot my I's, even with those people, because once you get to the desk, that's where the fear comes in.
Right.
If you did not cover your ass in that 15 minutes.
Right, right, right. Yes, yeah, yeah. And so there's no surprises. Even when somebody goes, I don't care what it costs, just do it. Well, okay, but let's not be fuzzy on the agreement. There's no surprises. You've kind of shut the door on surprises.
Right.
Well, I mean, you could do a whole training.
Oh, I would love to.
Well,
love to.
That'll be because it sounds like you're going to be going down the route of a Redken business educator.
Yeah.
Well, I want to. First of all, you need to promise me to come back because there's going to be. I'd like to bring you back for a handful of encores, and then some of these will be lives like this, and some private Zoom stuff because I think you're coming up with some. I'm going to call it next right answers for people to kind of very inspiring. You're kind of blowing up my dashboard. But before I say goodbye, a lot of people watching now, there are going to be a whole lot more people watching the replay. And they're looking at you, they're listening to you. But the biggie is they're identifying with you, but they're not in the place that you're at yet. They're where you were 3, 4, 5 years ago. And they're probably, I call it, they're dreaming a little bit. They're at the holy jumping off place and they're going, I wonder if I took the leap like she did and got on that choo-choo track, could I get to a place that she's at? What might you say to them tonight to, motivate them to take the shot like you did?
If you are, whether you're independent, whether you're in a commission salon, like you need to make sure that you have a mentor, somebody you trust. That for me, like I wish I had that. I try to be that for my team because I know that I can help them. because I want to lead. And find yourself a mentor. If you are not happy where you are, do not stay too long. Find your tribe, but also know who your brand is. Culture is non-negotiable, whether it's your own culture, the salon's culture, but you have to find where you're comfortable with.
Right, right.
Take risks when it comes to services.
Right.
Clean up your consultation just a little bit. You know what I mean? Go in and look at yourself and be like, what can I change today? And let me apply it tomorrow with my first client.
Right.
I guarantee if you change up your consultation, they will have that aha moment and step and be different than everybody else. Every time somebody was doing something, I did the opposite because I didn't want to be like anybody else.
Right, right, right. Well, sooner rather than later, I think people are going to probably be following you on Instagram. You can expect some DMs. But Carolyn just said,
Bring them on.
Carolyn just said redkensalon.com, Redken Education. So if they want to hook up and plug in, they can get to you through Redken as well, huh?
Yeah, I am in the process of onboarding with them. I'm super excited. I'm pushing myself out of my own comfort zone with this.
Yeah.
So, like I said, be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you just have to do it.
And then Linda Maki, you told me that you're hanging out with her. Is she going to be like your mentor, or like what's your relationship with her?
If she'll take me, yes. I speak with her weekly. I have asked, she's let me pick her brain about this new step and new journey in my career. And she's been completely accessible to me. And having that of somebody of such her and Carolyn just being so, fluid with me about all the things that I have to do, just, letting me know that this is where I should be and it's going to be okay. And it's going to be an amazing ride, but it's going to be a lot of work. But being able to bounce ideas off of Linda and having her as a mentor, has really made me even kind of have more confidence in myself because of somebody of her stature, like even giving me her time.
Right, right. Well, I just think you're getting warmed up. That's why I want to stay close to you. You and I follow each other. We're DMing each other almost every day on Instagram. You're going to come back and you're on my radar. I'm going to keep an eye on you and kind of show up. I love geeking out with you because I get inspired. So thank you very much, my friend.
You're so welcome.
And Godspeed to the next chapter of your life, which I think sounds like it's going to be on steroids to the 10th power.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, we're going to give it up for you one more time. Miss Dominique, I'll see you. Stay well. Say hi to my homies at Redken.
I will.
See you, Carolyn, too. That was cool, wasn't it? I mean, did you like her energy? She's got the juice. I said to her a couple of days ago when I was sending her to Zoom to get on tonight, I said, you know what? You're the real McCoy. There's no smoke and mirrors there. She knows how to make it happen. So I'm going to stay very, very close to her and hang out with her because I think she is very much the next right answer. So we're going to give it up for one more time. If you're hanging out with me tonight, you're on Michael Cole, Millionaire Stylist Facebook Live. I also have the same handle on Instagram. And what we'll do with Dominique's interview, that was probably a 35 minute interview. I'm going to probably break that up into 4 or 5 5-minute, 3-minute micro learnings. I'll put it on my IGTV channel on Michael Cole Millionaire. So if you're not following me there, do so. I'm this far away from putting something on Summit Salon 365 called mindfulness. The practicing mindfulness to get a healthier life and a wealthier career. And I think we have about 6 bites of video, and it's off the freaking charts. So if you're not on, and this is a Summit subscription site, You can watch it, 365 days a year. So I actually have a lot of content on that. So if you're looking for something that's got more value added, something new and fresh, hang out on that .com. It's become one of my faves. If you're just plugging into some Summit, get a complimentary virtual consultation, 30 minutes. Call the 800 number, and somebody there will hook you up. I've got another .com that's powered by L'Oreal Salon Emotion called saloncalcs.com. And I've got all of these gamified apps for setting goals behind the chair. I mean, all the stuff that Dominique learned when Carolyn and I were doing step-ups was all done by paper. Now it's done by gamified apps and calcs. Once you set the goal, we're now in the process of laying some technology over that where you get daily notifications as to how close you're getting to your goal. So, and all of this is like complements L'Oreal Salon Emotion. So they're basically now have changed my contract. So they're saying just create content, create tools for our community to use, and we'll pick up the tab. And it's like, whoa, thank you, thank you, L'Oreal. So if you're not a part of their brand, please get plugged in. Dominique just rolled over to Redken, and to the degree that you do that, I'm in a position, Summit's in a position where we can continue to create content and bring this to you, complements them. So, my favorite is Redken. We got Pulp Ride is kind of newest to the fam. There's Pureology, Mazzani, Shoe, Matrix, L'Oreal Professional Biolage, Kerastase. So a lot to choose from. So plug in. Here's the other thing that I really want to say to salon owners that are just watching this, especially if you're on another brand and you're afraid to flip because you've got 4 or 5 hitters that are they're educators on competitive brand. I get it, but sooner or later, especially since COVID, people are leaving the salon. People are leaving to rent, so you're having turnover or attrition. If that's happened to you now, you've got to start over. You have no choice. So to flip into a brand, you're not going to have the pushback. It's you and a couple other people. When you got a full salon and the people that you have working for you have full books and they're educators. I get it. So there with COVID and the pandemic, there are a lot of salons that are starting over and they're rebooting. Reboot with L'Oreal. Reboot with Redken. Reboot. Bring Pulp in. Bring L'Oreal Professional in. Bring Mazzani in. Why? Because what you saw tonight, you guys, that's the highly unique, sustainable, value-added point of difference gift with freaking purchase. So get into this conversation. I'm telling you, there's been more change in the beauty business in the last year than probably the last 20. I mean, it took us 20 years to get through 2020. And now, we're like in part 2 of the tsunami with the variant. We'll get through it. But you want to be in business for yourself but not by yourself. Plug into us and make that happen. So if you're interested, reach out to your salon-centric sales consultant. L'Oreal PPD has all their brand specialists. Get into this damn conversation because it's where it's at. So listen, been a long night. I'm gonna let you get on with your evening. I love you all. We'll be back on Monday night to do part 3. I'm having a conversation with John Harms, who is the founder and I would call him a code writing salon geek. He's the guy that's really kind of laying technology over some of these calculators that we're creating for you. So join us. I think we're talking about, what did he say? 2 of the scariest things that keep salon owners up at night, stylist turnover and client turn. So be with us. I think we're going live at 8 o'clock Eastern. So good to be with you. Stay well, and I'll see you then.